Hi, I am Blessing Chufularo, also known as Bleee.t, and I am here with Creative Cred. Hello. Hello, I am Blessing Chufularo, also known as Bleee.t, and I am a musician, a bassist, and occasionally a music producer. Hobbies outside my craft. I wouldn't consider it a hobby, but I'm very into clothes, into fashion, I guess. Essentially, we all are. I don't know if this is also considered a hobby, but I do my own hair, braid my hair, put on the beads, everything. I would consider it less of a hobby and more of like a ritual for me, but I guess in some ways it is. Fun fact about me that people don't know. I can somewhat speak French. I don't know if that's a fun fact because not really. I did 5 years of it in high school, and if a French person spoke to me now, I don't know if I would be able to respond. Hot, controversial take. Ooh, yeah, no, I definitely have something to say about this one. Maybe let's not police where people buy things from or be ethics police all the time with people. I think people are allowed to buy certain clothes from certain places if it's within their price range, and we should honestly just let people express themselves through their clothing how they want to. And if that means getting a top from a place that you don't deem as ethical, although it's very layered, at its core, obviously, if you're not like buying an obscene amount of clothes that you're never gonna touch or wear, I just think for the most part that we should let people just get what they want. And even if that's a dupe of something that's way out of their price range, just let people be, you know? When music feels heavy instead of freeing, how do you reconnect with it? Ooh. I think as someone who's trying to, a lot of people I know who are trying to live off of their passion and make it, financially sustainable for themselves, I think at times that's when music can feel heavy, especially if it's not panning out the way you would hope or not necessarily seeing the results that you want from it. But I think when even in instances when I feel like that, the way I reconnect with it usually is just by doing what I initially did when I started my musical journey, which is just messing around on the bass guitar, playing covers, listening along to songs that make me feel the way that, I would like people to feel when they listen to my music or hear me play. Bass often sits beneath the surface in music. How does that role shape how you see yourself creatively? That's really interesting. That's a really good question. That is true. I think bass is essentially what it is, the base of any song. You don't really, it's not the shiniest, quote unquote, the shiniest instrument in a band setup. However, once you remove it, you definitely feel its absence. You definitely feel the weight that it has. Whether it's playing one note a bunch of times in a particular way, that's impactful, or playing really intricate bass lines that are just as impactful. It's such a broad instrument, for lack of better wording. I think it's beautiful and I really connected with it. I started out with guitar initially, loved that instrument as well, have so much respect for it. But baby, once I got into bass, I did. And how does that role shape how I see myself creatively? I think I'm still trying to figure that out. I think it's definitely become a big part of who I am. As time went, the more time I just played songs that I enjoyed, learned songs I enjoyed, played with people, and the better I got at the instrument, or just learned a lot more about the instrument as time goes. Obviously, the more I connected with it. Genuinely, I feel like I have a personal relationship with my instrument as if it were a person. And I guess that is essentially how I feel. It's shaped how I see myself creatively. Like I see myself as someone who's very connected to the instrument, and I just really want to get better at it. Like I have so much to learn, and I'm constantly learning, and I think that's the fun part about it, challenging myself. Yeah. What moments of silence or creative blocks taught you about yourself? I don't know. I feel like that would first require me to define what a creative block looks like for me in my musical journey. I think something I definitely want to do more, though it is something I do in my free time a lot, is spend more time creating more. And I think in the spaces where I feel like I'm not able to create, whether it's just messing around on a bass line, I think those moments have really strengthened my relationship with my instrument. Because after that period of silence, I'm able to reconnect with it in a way that I didn't before, or I just have more appreciation for it, or I've picked up something new about the instrument that I wasn't aware of before. Those moments of silence, yeah, just definitely prove to me how much I actually love my instrument. I think that's the main thing I'll take away from those moments. I think something that I feel very strongly about with regards to this is authenticity. I definitely think that just allowing myself to just be myself and not really, or trying my best not to worry about how I'm gonna be perceived, or if people are saying, oh, she's not even a good player, or she can't play, or, you know, who did, etc., etc. There's just so many things that I feel it's not easy, but we do allow our brains to subconsciously, you know, whether it's from hearing what other people have to say about other people's work and other people's art and what they're doing, how they present themselves, all those tiny things build up and they sit on you, and you know, you feel that it restricts you in a way. And I can't stress this enough. I think trying or discovering what authenticity looks like to you, it's so freeing. It's really so freeing, and it makes you love what you do even more. You know, it's just like, what do I genuinely want to do? What would genuinely make me happy? And it's not selfish. It's none of that. You know, at the end of the day, another cliche line, but literally it's your life. You only live once. Wear what you want to wear, play what you want to play, learn an instrument, share it if you want to. Put yourself out there, even in small ways. I cannot stress this enough. We create so many mental blocks for ourselves. And once you overcome it, it's literally, it wasn't actually that bad. And you feel so good like afterwards. So being authentic in whatever way that is to you, I would say, yeah. Okay, yeah, that was extra, sorry.